Our vacation officially started at 2:30 a.m. on May 30th, when we packed up our car and took a 45-minute drive to the airport.
Alright guys, we're here at the Charlotte Douglas Airport parking lot. We got all of our baggage here.
Here, I'll give her this one.
We're on our way.
We departed Charlotte at 7:30 a.m., headed towards Phoenix on a 4.5-hour flight. This was Pierce's first flight, so he was excited to sit by the window and take in all the sights and sounds. We landed in Phoenix a little bit after 9 and had to rush to our next flight, which began at around a little after 10, headed towards Honolulu. This flight would end up taking 6 hours and 42 minutes for us to arrive in Honolulu. During this flight, we ended up sleeping a good bit and watching various videos of movies and television shows on each of our iPhones and Android devices. We landed in Honolulu about 1:42 p.m. We departed the plane, went and got our luggage, and we had a shuttle waiting for us, which it took about 30 minutes for them to arrive. A short drive to our hotel was about 22 minutes away, and we arrived and checked in.
They started at 2:30 a.m. We're finally in our room here in Hawaii. We've got a lagoon and marina view, and I don't know what time it is there, but it's like 4 p.m. here, so I think it's 10 p.m. in Lancaster, so start out 2:30 a.m. Man, I'm beat, dude.
After settling in, we decided we would go out to eat, so we went down to the Tropics Bar and Grill located on site, and Jaden got one of the $35 hamburgers. Shortly after supper, Walmart ended up delivering the groceries that we had ordered earlier in the day. After putting away our groceries and putting up our clothes, it was getting to be about 8:30. All of us was pretty tired, and we decided to call it a night. The following morning, I had a hard time sleeping. I actually woke up around 3:30 a.m. and ended up getting up and walking around at about 5:30 a.m. That's when the sun started rising. I decided I'd walk down to the Magic Island Lagoon, which was a short walk from our hotel. It was about 1.5 miles. At this lagoon, it's a man-made peninsula at the east end of Halona Beach Park. It features large seawalls and a shallow lagoon where kids can swim. The day I was there was a lot of surfers out in the water, and there's probably 10 or 15 people filming them. I asked what was going on. They said that was filming the surfers out there because this was the southern pipeline in Hawaii.
Then we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The lagoon offers awesome views of Diamond Head Crater, which is Hawaii's most recognized landmark and is known for its historic hiking trails, stunning coastal views, and military history. Magic Island is a man-made peninsula at the east end of the Manoa Park. It was completed in 1964 through the reclamation of 30 acres of shallow reef. Named Magic Island by its developers, the peninsula was the first phase of a resort hotel complex that called for 2 more islands to be constructed on the reef off Halona Beach Park. The project stopped after the development of Magic Island, leaving the state with a man-made peninsula, which they converted into a public park in 1972. After leaving the Magic Island Lagoon, I decided that I would do a little bit of fishing. So I went to the Ala boat harbor and fished around the boat harbor for a little while. Unfortunately, I didn't have much luck. Saw a bunch of fish, they just didn't want to bite and didn't like what I had. And I threw everything at them that I had, but no luck.
The musicians that came before us at home in Hawaii a jam of feel-good island music sitting under the sun. Feel-good island music skanking till the song is done. Feel-good island music flowing through my veins. Feel-good island music takes away all my pain.
I decided to walk on over to Halona Park and see if we could do a little bit of fishing there. I had walked past this earlier this morning when I went to the lagoon, and the pictures you're seeing now is of the park itself. Very beautiful, very peaceful. I really enjoyed hanging out here for a while, and just the peace and tranquility of the place was real cool. Unfortunately, yet again, didn't catch any fish, but I enjoyed it.
Takes away all my pain.
Had just about given up on catching any fish this morning, so what I ended up doing was walk back to the hotel about 10 a.m. and I figured that the rest of the crew would be up and at 'em at this point in the day. Got to the room, everybody was up. Indy and the kids were sitting there making some sandwiches for the beach, and what we ended up doing the rest of the day, we hung out on Waikiki beach and the lagoon that was right in front of our hotel, and just enjoyed the beach for the rest of the day. While we were there, there was a bunch of birds around, so Jaden, he decided he would throw some crackers on the Bailey and see if the birds would walk up onto her, and they did. But yeah, we had a good day today. Day 3 started off slow with sunburns, but we convinced all the kids that we would go on a hike to Manoa Falls. Manoa Falls is located in Manoa Valley. The Manoa Falls is a 150-foot waterfall that empties into a small pool of water. The waterfall is nestled in the mountains of Kailua in the tropical rainforest. Since the area surrounding the waterfall is considered a tropical rainforest, it is prone to heavy rainfall, often making the ground damp and muddy. To get to the Manoa Fall, you must take the Manoa Falls Trail, which is a 1.6-mile trail that is part of the Honolulu Trail System, and hiking the trail is approximately a 1-hour round trip. Many tourists are attracted to the waterfall and the scenery throughout the trail. The trails have a history as one of the earlier Hawaiian trails. There are many legends of the night marchers, or ancient Hawaiian warriors associated with the Manoa Falls. Scenes in movies such as Jurassic Park and Catching Fire were filmed at Manoa Falls. Also, Lost was filmed at Manoa Falls. The Manoa Falls Trail harbors many plant species and tropical birds as well. There was a small entry fee to get into the park. I believe it was about $5 for the entire car, which is dirt cheap. The only thing I would recommend is don't wear brand new shoes here because they will get muddy. And whatever you do once you get to the falls, don't get into the water because there is bacteria in the water that can cause you some problems down the road. Hiking up this was moderate. I'm a fat boy, so if I made it, anybody can. After doing the hike to Manoa Falls, we decided to drive around the island, which brings me to another story. When we got to the hotel, they had messed up our reservations, and I negotiated with them to give us free parking, which is about $50 a day, which saved us about $750 for the entire trip. So we decided to rent a car. So earlier in this day, I went to the airport and got a rental car and brought it back. So after we left the falls, we decided to drive around and saw some of the most amazing sights that I've ever seen. If you're ever in the Hawaii area, I highly recommend renting a car and just doing your own stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can do around the island that's free of charge. And to be honest with you, I enjoyed these off-the-wall places better than some of the paid places that we ended up traveling to over the course of the 2 weeks that we were there.
From the mountain to the ocean, from the windward to the leeward side. On the island, we do it island style. From the mountain to the ocean, from the windward to the leeward side. From the mountain to the ocean, from the windward to the leeward side. From the mountain to the ocean, from the windward to the leeward side.
The Halona blowhole is a scenic destination just north of Hanauma Bay. The blowhole results when waves are forced into the underwater lava tube and the pressure forces a stream of water to blow out the other end, shooting into the air. The blowhole is most exciting when surf is active on this side of the island. There are some days when it's blowing water high into the sky and other days when it's quite quiet. Just to the right is Halona Beach Cove, also known as Cockroach Cove, where the famous love scene between Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr in the 1953 movie Here to Eternity was filmed. Several TV shows such as NCIS Hawaii have also filmed at this very location. The entrance to the cove, marked Danger, Do Not Enter, is beside the road and is a rocky cliff that you have a small pathway to walk down. Once you get to the bottom of the hill, you'll find a sandy beach, which is locals' favorite. You'll find many people sunbathing and swimming in the waters of the cove. You can also climb onto the rocks and jump into the water as the waves come in. Makapu'u Point is at the extreme eastern end of the island, comprising the remnant of a ridge that rises 647 feet above the sea. The cliff at Makapu'u Point forms the eastern tip and is the site of a prominent lighthouse. By the end of the exploring, we were hungry, so we decided we'd go to the Ala Moana Center, which is the world's largest open-air shopping center, with more than 350 shops and restaurants to explore. We ended up going to what we thought was ultimate California pizza, but it was actually California pizza. We ended the night at the Lucky Strike Bowling Alley and Arcade. Stayed there for about an hour or two playing video games. Then we went back home, got into bed, and went to sleep. The following morning, I got up again around 5:30 a.m. and headed to the famous Waikiki Wall and covered walkway into the ocean. Built in 1951 as part of the Waikiki Beach Improvement Project, the wall was originally called the Kapahulu Groin and served as an extension of a storm drain that runs beneath Kapahulu Avenue. Around the same time, the city also transported 100,000 cubic yards of sand to create the man-made beaches on both sides of the wall. Lower seawalls running perpendicular to the wall from saltwater pools and have become popular for families with children. No matter the ocean conditions outside the barricaded pools, they can enjoy calm conditions for swimming and snorkeling. Today, it's more commonly called walls and can be overcrowded pretty easy, especially during the popular Sunset on the Beach event held on the adjacent Kahulu Beach. For the best views, people huddle under the sheltered pavilion at the end of the wall or watch the big screen movies from along the raised stretch of cement. But nothing beats the panoramic view from right behind them. Fiery skies at dusk as sunset sets deeper into the golden sea. That's something you'll definitely won't find anywhere else but in the heart of Waikiki. There was an abundance of small reef fish right at the rock's wall. So I'd cast out to them, had a little cork on there, and used fish bites, and they seemed to like the fish bites. Also, they like balled up bread, and I caught a couple of fish. Although I was enjoying fishing, I knew that it was around 10 a.m. and the family would be getting up about this time. So I decided to pack it all up and head back to the hotel for some breakfast. As I was walking back to my car through Kapolani Park, I noticed several beautiful statues that people had erected around the park. The park was dedicated in 1877. It was the first public park in Hawaii, and it features over 300 acres of space and along the ocean side. Once I got back to the motel, Pierce was in pain due to the second-degree burns he had gotten over the previous days of sun exposure. Pierce and Wendy decided to stay back, so I took Jaden and Bailey over to the Magic Island Lagoon. Bailey laid out while me and Jaden did a little bit of fishing and wandering around. Again, we didn't catch anything, but it was all right. There were some surfers surfing some big waves, and we watched them for a little while. It was pretty cool. This guy was fishing for the giant trevally, which is the Hawaiian national icon, and the fishery is among the best in the world for these fish. During our trip, Bailey took thousands of selfies of herself. If you look right there in the middle of the screen, you'll see where she's done wrangled Jake and then taken some more pictures of her in her bathing suit. Me, Jaden, and Bailey ended up having a dinner at a Japanese restaurant at the evening and called it a night. Whether you're from Hawaii or have never been to the islands, you've probably heard of Waikiki Beach. Often rated as one of the best beaches in the United States, Waikiki Beach has become a premier place to spend a holiday. Waikiki Beach is known for its beautiful white sand and turquoise blue water, but that's just the beginning. Located on the tropical island of Oahu, Waikiki Beach gets the benefit of natural beauty as well as glamour and excitement of being a district of Hawaii's largest city, Honolulu. Waikiki Beach also benefits from its location as Waikiki has grown into a thriving district. Home to the world-class dining and shopping, entertainment venues such as the zoo and aquarium, and several places to stay, everything you could possibly need is within walking distance from the beach. Surfing was once considered a sport only for Hawaiian royalty until Duke Kanakamoka was able to share it with the world. Growing up in Waikiki, Duke surfed, swam, and worked as a Waikiki beach boy. He eventually went on to win 5 Olympic medals for swimming, which gave him the voice he needed. Now a famous athlete, Duke introduced the world to surfing by showcasing the sport from the East Coast to the West Coast and even Australia. Now Waikiki beach surfing brings millions of tourists to where it all began as they try to surf queens, canoes, and pops just as the father of surfing once did. While Waikiki Beach is famous for its surfing and its beauty, it got a little boost from other famous icons in the early 1900s. Shortly after the first hotels were built on the beach, celebrities such as Bing Crosby, Amelia Earhart, Frank Sinatra, and Joe DiMaggio rushed down to see Waikiki Beach. Not long after, Elvis Presley began performing in Waikiki as well as starring in a handful of movies that were shot at Waikiki Beach. As the decades passed, Hollywood consistently picked Waikiki to be one of the settings for several TV shows, movies, and vacations. After a 2-year hiatus, Waikiki's spectacular Friday night fireworks show relaunched on June 3rd. The fireworks show, presented by the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort, has lit up Waikiki's night sky nearly every week since 1988. It was paused in March of 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic restrictions. The popular and free fireworks show is a tradition that has been around for decades. Visitors and residents alike hold many fond memories of sitting in the sand at Waikiki Beach, taking in the dazzling display and kicking off the weekend. The following morning I woke up pretty early and decided I'd go fishing at Manoa Bay, which is a bay in the southeast of Honolulu. Manoa Bay Beach Park was developed by Henry Kaiser during the development of Hawaii Kai Marina. Historically, the beach consisted of 535,000 square feet of coral that was dredged and removed, creating a water channel. Kaiser donated it to the city and county of Honolulu in 1960. Public access to the bay is easily made through the city and county beach park off of Kalina Old Highway, across from the Hawaii Kai Drive. Despite the tide height, this bay and reef are always accessible to watercraft, stand-up paddlers, fishers, and kayakers. At low tide, people can walk out onto the sandbar and explore the nearby reef. It is not uncommon to find moon jellies that get caught on the sandbar before the tide lowers. Another scenic spot for tourists near Manoa Bay is Hanauma Bay, known for having clear waters and many native fish, ideal for snorkeling and sightseeing. Hanauma Bay located along the southeast coast of the island. Hanauma is one of the most popular tourist destinations on the island and has suffered somewhat from over-tourism. At one time, this popular tourist destination accommodated over 3 million visitors per year. In 1956, dynamite was used to clear portions of the reef to make room for telephone cables linking Hawaii to the west coast of the U.S. Hanauma is both a nature preserve and a marine life conservation district. This is the first one of several that was established in the state of Hawaii. Reflecting changes in attitude, its name has changed over time from Hanauma Bay Beach Park to Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve. Visitors are required by law to refrain from mistreating marine animals or from touching, walking, or otherwise having contact with coral heads, which appear much like large rocks on the ocean floor. About 400 species of fish are known to inhabit the bay. Hanauma Bay is known for its abundance of green sea turtles, Hanauma is a nursery ground for the immature turtles, which have their nesting grounds at the French frigate shores. It is also known for its abundance of parrotfish. Originally, this area was inhabited due to the lack of fresh water in its vicinity. Although archaeologists have found fishing tools and other indications of human presence there, the bay was used as a recreational area. It was also used as a layover and a navigational lookout. Hanauma Bay was purchased from the Bernice Bishop Estate by the City and County of Honolulu and subsequently opened for public use. It was initially a favorite fishing and picnic spot for residents who were willing to travel out to the bay. In the 1930s, the road along Hanauma Bay's corner of Oahu was paved and a few other amenities provided that made it easier to visit the beach and reef. After 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor, barbed wire was placed at the beach and a bunker was constructed for the use of sentries. The Bay Area was reopened after the war and became even more visitor-friendly after blasting in the reef for a transatlantic cable provided room for swimming. Hawaii-themed films and television shows including Blue Hawaii, Paradise, Hawaiian Style, Tora Tora Tora, Hawaii 5-0, and Magnum P.I. shot footage at the bay. In 1967, it was set apart by the State Division of Fish and Game as a marine protected area, a term used generically to describe any marine area that had some or all of its resources protected. In Hanauma Bay's case, everything became protected, from the fish to the reef, to the sand itself. A volunteer group set up a booth at the beach and began teaching visitors about conservation of the reef and fish who lived there. More changes in the 1970s by the city cleared more area in the reef for swimming, made additional parking lot, and shipped in white sand from North Shore, leaving Hanauma Bay increasingly more attractive to visitors. By the late 1980s, the bay had become a major attraction in Oahu. Tourists were brought in by the busloads, and sometimes as many 13,000 visitors descended on the beach in one day. Most were uneducated by the fragile marine life and ecosystem, and unwittingly these crowds stirred up sediment, disturbed and trampled the coral and algae, dropped trash, fed the fish, and left a slick of suntan lotion on the bay's surface. Consequently, the beautiful, multicolored reef closest to the beach died. Only its blackened skeleton is visible today. By 1990, overuse of the beach and surrounding area was a real problem, with visitors walking on the reef, swarming and surrounding areas, parking on the grass and on the sides of the road. Commercial fishing was banned during that year. Measures were taken to limit the use, and so visitors' access was limited to the parking lot, and when it was full, everyone after was turned away. After leaving Hanauma Bay, we decided to go to Bamboo Ridge at Halona Point. In the early 1920s, an old Portuguese pig farmer often lent his donkeys to a handful of young Japanese fishermen. The men would backpack their way across the steep lava cliffs on the southeastern portion of Oahu until they reached Halona Point, their favorite fishing grounds. The next day they would return to the farmer and provide him with enough fish for a month. This bartering system continued until the coastal road opened in 1931. Soon fishermen from all over Oahu began casting on Halona, and on a good night a multitude of bamboo fishing poles would line the perimeter of the point, which was given the name Bamboo Ridge. And even today, some 50 years later, the men at Bamboo Ridge continue to tell the story of the old Portuguese pig farmer and the young Japanese fisherman. Today, fishermen still walk these rocky lava paths down to the point in order to fish. They have marked them in the path with reflectors all along the path to where you can come and go at night with a flashlight, and you can see the reflectors as you're walking down the path down to the fishing grounds. Once you reach the bottom of the cliff, you'll see a shelter where fishermen can take refuge from the elements. In 1929, a group of fishermen founded the former Honolulu Japanese Casting Club, the forerunner of today's many casting clubs. In spite of their caution in fishing off the rocky lava ledges that are found along Oahu's coastline, every year a number of their members and fellow fishermen were swept away and lost in heavy surf. In 1935, members of the club began a community service project to erect a concrete warning markers at dangerous spots around the island. Each marker had the Japanese character for danger carved on 2 of its sides. The markers were usually placed at a spot where a fisherman had lost his life. They still can be seen along the coastline as well as Kono Head area. In addition to setting up the warning markers, the members of the Honolulu Casting Club pooled their money and sent away to Japan for a carved statue, the guardian god for people at all dangerous waterways and coastlines. When the statue arrived, it was placed on top of Halona Point, overlooking the ridge and cove below. With the outbreak of World War II, however, the head was broken off, because he was the god of the enemy, and eventually his body was demolished entirely. The post-war cost of replacing the statue was too prohibitive for the club members, so they decided to have his figure carved into large stone. This was done, and today it stands again in its place, watching over the fishermen and swimmers near Halona. Started the day off getting up early again and going basically to the same fishing spot that I did the previous day. Decided that the pier looked pretty good and threw my squid out there, but as luck would have it, I didn't catch anything again. At least on the other side of the park I caught some crabs, but anyway, I had a good time anyway, so it is what it is. We ended up meeting up with Jacob and Jane, who had flew in the night before, and we ended up deciding that we would drive over to the North Shore and do some exploring over there. Jane, she ended up being a pretty daggum good tour guide. Jane, along with one of our good friends, Mandy Powers Noel, who had been on the island several times, they gave us some really good tips on spots that not very many people go to, and they ended up being some of the best spots that I feel like there was on the island. So, don't be afraid to get out and explore, and sometimes you'll find some hidden treasures out there, and that's sure what Jane did. Our first stop of the day was at Sharks Cove. Sharks Cove is a popular Oahu attraction in the North Shore for its amazing snorkeling experience. Not far from Halewa town and around the corner from Waimea Bay, it is a unique reef-protected Oahu beach cove that got its name from its shape, which keenly resembles that of a shark. Not to worry, you are highly unlikely to see a shark at this Oahu beach. You are more than likely to see a green sea turtle swimming about. There's a large array of fish that call Sharks Cove home. The 80-acre Marine Life Conservation Park is largely made up of reef and volcanic rock that spans about a football field across, giving it with many great nooks and crannies to explore. There are plenty of crevices, caves, tunnels, and places to hide that make this beach cove quite the playground for tropical fish to dart in and out as if playing hide and seek to the snorkeler's delight. There are two sections to Sharks Cove. The east side is shallower with many tide pools, and the west side is the deeper section and better for snorkeling. Unlike Hanauma Bay that tends to get busy during most days with up to 3,000 visitors, Sharks Cove is a great alternative with far less crowds, clear waters, and an abundance of fish to see, and it's also free. The porous reef creates protection and home to a large array of fish. Definitely too many to name, but there are triggerfish, butterfly fish, parrotfish, and damselfish in abundance. It's definitely a colorful mix, and they tend to swim in large schools. You'll find others hiding in reef, and maybe even a moray eel or two. Show up during low tide and you'll find plenty of tide pools to explore, and at high tide you'll have a large area to snorkel at your heart's content. It's typically only a few feet deep when you are close to shore, but it progressively gets deeper as you swim out towards the ocean. It's said to be around 20 feet at the mouth of the cove that opens up to the ocean and up to 40 feet deep just outside the cove. For those who are determined to go beyond Sharks Cove outer reef wall, there are larger fish lurking about in the deeper waters. There are also larger caves and tunnels located on the west side of the reef going towards Three Tables Beach, which is another fantastic diving and snorkeling area. Sharks Cove has been rated by Scuba Diving Magazine as one of the top 12 shore dives in the world. The bottom is made up of large, smooth boulders and coral heads forming small caves and ledges for marine life to hide. The walls of the surrounding cliffs provide calmer water, attracting schooling surface fish. On the south side of the Sharks Cove is the tide pools, a great place to wade and explore. Sharks Cove is one of Oahu's best snorkeling and dive beaches, so the shore can get a little crowded on occasion. Because Sharks Cove is located between the famed big wave surf spots of Hawaiian Bay and the Bonsai Pipeline, you'll have to make sure there are no large swells that day. October through April is considered Hawaii's surf season, with waves peaking between December and February. So the summer months are the best time to snorkel at Sharks Cove. If there are waves forecasted, the current can be strong. The inside of the bay is about 8 to 15 feet deep, progressively getting deeper as you head out. Because of the popularity of Sharks Cove, there is a small parking lot which may fill quickly. Be sure to get there at least by 9 to 10 a.m. so you'll have a place to park. The parking lot overlooks the beach. There are public restrooms and showers at the parking lot. No lifeguard is on duty, but just across the street of the parking lot there are some small shops where you can buy food and drinks. Sharks Cove was our family's favorite place that we visited while we were in Hawaii. Whether it was snorkeling or jumping off these rocks here, it was just a wonderful time we had here. The only problem that I had with this place was that getting into the water was kind of dicey because you'd have to walk around these smaller rocks and large rocks, and just getting into the water was a little difficult. But once you got into the water to where you could actually float, everything was good. Our next stop of the day took us to Turtle Bay. Turtle Bay marks the entrance to the legendary North Shore, one of the most scenic stretches of Oahu's coastline. The bay is named after a large number of green sea turtles that inhabit the area and who used to lay their eggs in the sand on the beach years ago. Most people come to Turtle Bay for surfing, diving, and fishing. There's a reef in the nearshore waters, and beyond this reef is where the surfing area begins. We were all getting a bit hungry, so we decided to go back to Sharks Cove, where we saw some food trucks earlier in the day. We all walked around. I think they had maybe like 9 different food vendors there, And I ended up getting some teriyaki chicken along with Pierce and Bailey and Wendy, and we all agreed that that was the best teriyaki chicken that we had ever ate. After eating, Wendy wanted to go watch the sunset on the North Shore, so we decided to go to the Hanauma Beach Park. Located west of the Hanauma Small Boat Harbor, this 19-acre beach park is a favorite gathering spot among North Shore residents. There is a huge grassy area with plenty of room for a picnic. A recreation center named Keala Surf Center is located in the park. A popular surf site called Halona is located offshore. Beginners usually stick closer to shore while experts ride the higher waves further out. A few surfing contests take place here in the winter months, when the surf on Oahu's North Shore is up. There's also a few good dive spots offshore, such as the Hawaiian Trench. Swimming is possible here, but the conditions are fair because the ocean bottom is rocky. The beach park is more suitable for surfing, kayaking, boating, fishing, and diving. Our day started out with a short trip to the new Oahu Pali Lookout. Just a 5-minute drive northeast of downtown Honolulu, the Honolulu Pali Lookout offers panoramic views. Perched over 1,000 feet above the Oahu coastline, amid mountain peaks shrouded by clouds, the stone terrace overlooks the areas of Kaneohe and Kailua, Moakali, and the University of Hawaii's Marine Biology Research Center, Coconut Island. Other notable landmarks that can be seen are Hawaiian Pacific University's Windward Campus and the Marine Corps Base. The Pali Lookout is a site of deep historical significance, named Pali meaning cliff in Hawaiian. The Pali Lookout is the site of the Battle of Nuuanu, where in 1795 King Kamehameha I won the struggle that finally united Oahu under his rule. This fierce battle claimed hundreds of soldiers' life, many of which were forced off of the Pali's sheer cliffs. Our next stop is at the Lahaina Beach. Considered one of the best beaches in the world, Lahaina has everything that the paradise seekers are looking for. White sand, clear blue water, calm surf, offshore islands, and a laid-back family atmosphere. Lahaina Beach is found on the windward side of Oahu. The two islands you see from Lahaina Beach are the Mauna Islands, or the monks. Widely regarded as local icons, you see them printed on just about everything: t-shirts, bumper stickers, and even beer bottles. Both islands are protected seabird sanctuaries and are mostly off limits to humans, but the northern moat has a small beach that is permissible to land on and a small walking path. Most people reach the moats by kayak. If you bring your own, you can launch it from Lanakai Beach, which is the most direct and closest point. But many people launch from Kailua Beach because it's where the rental shops are located. There are many things to do at Lanakai Beach other than sunbathe. The calm waters and outer islands make this a prime beach to engage in kayaking and other paddle sport, and the coral in the bay also make it a suitable spot to go snorkeling. Lanakai's calm waters, mountain backdrop, and offshore islands make it a wonderful place to kayak or paddleboard. Behind Lanakai neighborhood is the trailhead for the Lanakai Pillbox hike, one of the most scenic and popular hikes on Oahu. A short but steep 1-mile climb brings you to a set of leftover army bunkers and gives you an overlook of Lanakai Beach and the Kailua coast. Many people tackle this hike in the early morning to watch the sun rise off the coast. Lanakai is also a great place for early morning walk or photography as the sun rises just off the coast.
It'll win to get it back to us. We done messed you up now.
I know.
Sorry about that.
On our next stop, we visited Hia Harbor, which was located on Oahu's windward side. It's the largest sheltered body of water in the Hawaiian Islands. Hia Harbor offers fishing charters and scenic cruises, boat, water toy, and jet ski rentals, parasailing, snorkel, and scuba diving cruises. The harbor has 21 berths, 54 moorings, 3 boat ramps, a vessel washdown, fish hoist, a harbor office, restrooms, showers, a canoe club, fuel, food, and ice, and it also has a general store with a deli. Hia Harbor was a filming location for the most recent Jurassic World movie, as well as several of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Everyone was getting a little bit tired, so we decided that we would make our way back to our hotel, which is the Hilton Hawaiian Village at Waikiki Beach Resort. The Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort is a hotel on Waikiki Beach in Honolulu. The resort first opened in 1955 and since has grown to become the largest in the Hilton chain of hotels and one of the largest hotels in the world. The John Ina estate was originally built on the site of the former village of Kailua. It consisted of a private estate with an owner's residence, tenant houses, and a salt flat. The portion of the estate nearest the ocean beach was developed around 1900 as a small hotel named the Old Waikiki, then redeveloped in 1928 as the Nimula Hotel. The Hawaiian Village Hotel was conceived, constructed, and first administered by Henry Kaiser, the industrialist who built the Hoover Dam and the Grand Colli Dam and founded the Kaiser Permanente health system. In 1954, Kaiser and developer Fritz B. Burns bought the 16-acre estate from John Ina and combined it with the Numala Hotel to construct the Hawaiian Village, converting the flat to a lagoon. They built thatched roof cottages with 70 guest rooms, the type of room, gardens, and 3 swimming pools, and the hotel opened in September of 1955. On May 1st, 1956, Western Hotels assumed management of the Hawaiian Village Hotel. In 1957, the modern Ocean Tower and the famous Dome were added. Conrad Hilton bought half of the resort from Henry Kaiser in 1961. Hilton Hotels and Resorts assumed management on February 1st, 1961, renaming the resort the Hilton Hawaiian Village. Elvis Presley stayed at the hotel soon after filming Blue Hawaii. In 1968, the resort's iconic Rainbow Tower opened, with the world's largest and tallest ceramic tile mosaic on its facade, an image of a rainbow measuring 26 feet wide and 286 feet tall, which required over 16,000 individual tiles. The Tapa Tower was added in 1982, and the original Ocean Tower was gutted and rebuilt in 1987, with the addition of 2 floors, at which point it was named the Ali Tower. The 25-story Kala Tower was added in 2001. In 1999, the Hilton Hawaiian Village was used as a taping location for 2 weeks of the Wheel of Fortune episodes. It would also be used again as taping sessions in 2001. The following morning, we decided that we would head out to a secluded beach called Allen Davis Beach. Out on the east coast of Oahu, Allen Davis Beach is rarely spoken about among tourists, but the locals flock here like crazy on the weekends. Allen Davis Beach is just a short detour from the popular Makapulu Lighthouse Trail. Park your car at the Makapulu Lighthouse Trail parking lot and veer through the brushes on the dirt track instead of taking the Lighthouse Trail up the hill. This is the Kiowa Scenic Shoreline Trail, although it isn't very clearly marked. Follow this trail for 10 to 15 minutes and you will reach a little beach. Head along the left-hand side of the small bay and you will find yourself below Pele's Chair. After a short hike along the Kiowa Scenic Shoreline Trail, you will reach this secluded cove. It is a similar vibe to the China Walls, where you can bring along food and drinks and set up for a couple of hours of fun. With great views all the way down to Cocoa Head Crater, it's one of the most scenic little coves on the island of Oahu. Snorkeling at Allen Davis is quite nice with the great clarity of the water. There are always lots of fish swimming around and you never know when a Hawaiian green sea turtle will appear. Allen Davis Beach is a great spot to do some low-key cliff jumping in a relatively safe swimming area. If you can, head to the beach on a weekday to avoid the flocks of crowds on a weekend. The jumps are pretty small, but it is still best to jump at high tide because the water is relatively shallow. You can see the bottom on calm days through the clear water, but always do a quick swim to check first. If you aren't into swimming, take a short walk up to Pele's Chair, which is a rock formation with a large significance to the traditions of the native Hawaiians. This large volcanic rock formation known as Pele's Chair is believed in Hawaiian legend to be the last place the fire goddess sat before departing the island of Oahu. Hawaiian culture is filled with interesting and exciting stories and legends about gods and goddesses, ghosts and goblins, about the creation of the earth and the Hawaiian Islands. The ancient Hawaiians believed in a deep connection to the nature of the lava flowing from the volcanoes through their stories. These stories are filled with passion, love, betrayal, loyalty, birth, and death. Pele's Chair, a large lava rock formation that looks like a giant chair from afar, it is situated on the eastern tip of Oahu. The Hawaiian culture suggests that it is a good idea to leave an offering of food, flowers, or gin at Pele's Chair, as in doing so it is believed you may prevent a volcano from erupting. Legends also suggest that it was Pele's Chair where the fire goddess sat after her volcanic activities gave birth to Oahu, as well as other Hawaiian islands which are perfectly visible from this point. The Pele's Chair lies divinely at the very bottom of the vast, long-lasting mountain range of Koloko, paralleling 37 miles of the eastern coast of Oahu, leading through Makalulu Point to the southeastern tip of the island. On the opposite side of the chair are numerous tide pools, which are usually stirring with all sorts of life.
Jane's like, you don't even throw it that far, dude. Do better. Based on how you did on vacation. She said, Where's my tree?
After hiking back out of Allen Davis Beach, we decided we'd go revisit one of our favorite coves on the island, which was Halona Beach Cove. We started the day off by eating breakfast at the Lily Hall Bakery. The Lily Hall Bakery is a full-service bakery and diner that was built in 1950. Since day one, Lily Hall's commitment to baking fresh cakes and pastries with local ingredients has been the utmost priority. Experienced bakers who have been with the bakery for up to 40 years honor the same time baking methods, making sure that all baked goods are fresh from scratch. After breakfast, we ended up meeting back up with Jacob and Jane, and we ended up taking a trip down to the China Walls. Located deep in the Hawaiian Kai backroads, you will find China Walls, a beach you can do everything at. You can come here just to bathe in the sun and hang out with the family. You can surf when the south swell comes in, or you can just dive in and swim. You can even fish. The best thing about China Walls is the view of the sunset when the sun is going down and the open view of the ocean white water rolling onto the southern shore. It's a great beach for people who don't like sand. You can swim, snorkel, surf, and bodyboard.
You missed a hell of a wave come up high.
I know it splashed my feet.
I saw that.
Port Lock Point, Coco Kai Mini Beach Park, and China Walls are the various names people use to identify this beach. As you make your way down the small trail, you'll come out onto a cliff, and right below you is the deep blue ocean, and further below that is the coral and reef.
Yep.
Do it.
Oh no, your nose ring.
To the left and right are reef sections that can get you closer to the water. There is no sand in sight except at the bottom of the ocean. On weekends and during the summer when the waves are coming in, this place gets fairly crowded, but there are many spots for you to put your stuff down and relax. China Walls is perfect for you to come to if you don't want to deal with the crowd at sandy beaches.
Yeah, right now. 3, 2, 1, go! Hell yes! That was fun.
Our next stop of the day was a short drive to the Spitting Caves. Nestled in the beautiful neighborhood of Port Lock on the southeast coast of Oahu, there's a huge cliff jump known as the Spitting Cave. The location is one of the coolest spots to chill at. The Spitting Cave is also a very popular sunset spot to grab a place to end the day. The cliffs are similar to the China Walls, which is just around the corner. However, everything at the Spitting Cave is on a larger, grander scale. A small inlet feeds into the cave in the cliffs below, and as the pressure builds inside the cave with each ebb and flows, the water bursts out with huge force. On days with rough conditions in the ocean, the blasts from the cave are phenomenal. After spending the day cliff diving and swimming, we went back to our hotel to get ready for the evening meal. We ended up going to the Tommy Bahama restaurant and ended up meeting up with Tim, Bev, Jacob, and Jane. The founders of Tommy Bahamas envisioned a character named Tommy who is an island guy cruising through life. Basing off of beach life concept, started the clothing line. Today there are over 160 retail stores and 18 restaurants under the same name. After its inception, Tommy Bahama has branched out not only into retail but also accessories, food, household items, gifts, and beachwear benefiting the beach lifestyle concept. In Hawaii, Tommy Bahama Restaurant and Bar is located in Waikiki. It is a 3-story building, retail on the first floor, restaurant on the second, and a rooftop bar on the third. The restaurant is known for the classic Western dishes made from local produce and seafood with a Hawaiian flavor added.
Family, my name is Val. I will be your tour guide for today, also your personal bodyguard. I'd like to welcome you on a Kualoa's Hollywood Movie/Ranch tour. So family, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a Hawaiian word. Can everyone say Ohana? Beautiful, which means family. So we're going to be Ohana for the next hour and a half. Now family, I do want to warn you. So Hollywood movie sites. It's just as is. We're going to be passing through film locations, so we won't be seeing a lot of movie sets. So we're going to need everyone's expectations to come down a little bit. But the reason why I said ranch tour as well, not only will we be passing through our film locations, we'll also be learning a little bit about the history of the ranch. We'll be passing through some other agricultural farmland as well. So as you all know, family, Kualoa is made up of 4,000 acres, separated into 3 ahupua'a, also known as land divisions. So our first land division, again, we have the ahupua'a of Hakipulu, the ahupua'a of Kualoa, obviously, as well as the ahupua'a of Ka'apa Valley. So right now we are in the main ahupua'a, main land division of Kualoa. We're gonna walk around through here. If you want to take a look to the left, you'll see a different angle of our Kualoa mountain. She's a beauty, huh? We're going to be seeing all angles of her today. So for those of you who have been on the jungle expedition tour, so Kualoa does translate into long back. It refers to the ridgeline that runs the length of our ranch. Kualoa also resembles the back of a giant lizard. So there's an old Hawaiian mythology that illustrates how we got the name Kualoa, along with the Waikiki, which is a Kochi Island out in the bay, simply known as Dragon's Hat. So now, family, we're going to be making our way into our largest land division. As I saw back there, the Jurassic lands back there, also known to you guys as the Jurassic Valley. So along the way, family, we will be seeing some historical sites. So the owners of the ranch today, it is John Morgan and his family. John Morgan, he is a direct descendant, about 6th, 7th generation of American Dr. Garrett Judd. So Dr. Garrett Judd, when he arrived here to Hawaiian Island. So before we go into Ka'apa Valley, we're going to pass the location here on our left. Anyone watch Triple Frontier? 2019 Netflix production. This is starring Charlie Hunnam, Oscar Isaac, Ben Affleck. In this particular scene here on the left side, they made it seem as if they're about 2,000 feet high above ground. We already checked, family, 2 feet. So family, we are in the land division of Hanauma Valley. This valley marks a total of 2,200 acres. It was originally owned by the Hawaiian chief Joshua Ka'el. Before Chief Stark's family returned, the family had purchased it for good $4,000. If you want to see how very happy. On our left here is just a little replica of Gilligan's Island. As I come through here, we're going to play a little I Spy. So if you want to go look to the left down the grass so you don't use your imagination here. So don't look at the entire mountain, look at the base of the mountain. There you will see a long formation of two kissing grounds. So I present to you the boneyard from Congo Island. So family, these props are made out of styrofoam. I kindly ask that you please don't step on them, climb on them, or pick them up. You're more than welcome to tap on them. I also ask that you please remain within this lower level area here. We do have the Jurassic look here. If anyone wants to get chased by a dinosaur, eaten by a dinosaur, that can be arranged. You're more than welcome to sit on Randy Joe Young's lap as well. Please watch you guys step going down. Also, please watch out the cow ties. We still have them there. I've had people mistaking that as rock. I'm trying to understand why. So go ahead, family. Watch you guys step going down. Enjoy. We'll be here for a good, we'll be here for a good 15 to 20 minutes. Lastly, on our left, here we have Journey to Mysterious Islands, starring everyone's favorite uncle, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So a lot of CGI was used in this movie here. You can see some of the props that we have behind the iguana eggs, along with that termite hill. So that termite.
Our next stop of the day was at the Polynesian Cultural Center. The Polynesian Cultural Center is a family-centered cultural tourist attraction and living museum on the northern shore of Oahu. It is owned by the Church of Latter-day Saints and was dedicated on October 12, 1963. It occupies 42 acres of land belonging to the nearby Brigham Young University of Hawaii. The PCC encompasses 8 simulated tropical villages in which performers demonstrate various arts and crafts from throughout the Polynesian. In early 1962, the Church of Latter-day Saints authorized construction of the nonprofit center as a way to provide employment and scholarships for students, and to preserve cultures of Polynesian. next stop was at the Laie Point State Wadeside Park. Laie Point State Wadeside Park lies on the peninsula in the town of Laie, on Oahu's northeastern shore. This place is steeped in Hawaiian legend, one of which, according to William Rice in his Hawaiian Legends, goes like this. Manoa is the name given to a point of land which extends into the ocean from Laie. In ancient times this point was Mo, standing upright, ready to kill the passerby. After Kana and his brother had rescued their mother from Molika and had taken her back to Hawaii, Kana set out on a journey around the islands to kill the Mo. In due time he reached Laie, where the Mo was killing many people. Kana had no difficulty in destroying the monster. Taking its head, he cut it into 5 pieces and threw them into the sea, where they can be seen today as the 5 small islands laying off of Hana. The legend of the Lana Mo can be read on a graphic plaque attached to the boulder in the park. Giovanni's started operating out of a converted 1953 bread truck without much more than a few recipes for great shrimp. As the story goes, in 1993, Ed Hernandez from El Paso, Texas, had a marker and wanted to leave his mark on the shrimp truck. After the shrimp truck was closed, the employees noticed the signature and decided to leave it on the truck. The following day, a few more signatures with pictures appeared, and there started what was to become thousands and thousands of customers leaving their mark on the shrimp truck. In 2006, Giovanni's became such a part of the community that they purchased the land they were parked on, and in 2010 they built a pavilion so patrons and visitors could enjoy their shrimp, the weather, and each other. The only resort of its kind on the north shore of Oahu, Turtle Bay spans across nearly 1,300 acres of lush historic land featuring 5 miles of untouched coastline and 12 miles of breathtaking trails. Turtle Bay is located approximately 55 minutes from Honolulu and a few miles away from the Polynesian Cultural Center. After we left the Turtle Bay Cove Resort, everybody was getting hungry, and we decided that they wanted to go back to the AJI limo truck, which was located at Sharks Cove just a few miles down the road. We had ate there earlier in the week, and it was the best teriyaki chicken that our entire family has ever ate. So we decided to eat there, and then after we ate there, we watched the sunset from the Sharks Cove.
The big wedding day was finally upon us. Everyone met Beverly and Tim at their hotel. All the girls went to help Beverly get ready while all the boys met up on the rooftop bar for a few drinks. Alright, Mr. Timmy, you got any last words?
So death do us part.
Death do us part. You got any words of wisdom for Uncle Timmy?
And I haven't been married yet, so
Right?
I haven't got married, so
Same page there. Don't have any advice.
Well, as far as me, I wish Uncle Timmy the best of luck and have a happy marriage and a long and fruitful marriage. And I wish you and Beverly the best of luck. Y'all got anything you'd like to say to wait a minute, Uncle Timmy and Aunt Bev?
Third time's charming.
let's do it right this time.
That's right. That's right. We all good. After Beverly got ready, the boys were called to come down to the lobby and make their way to the limousine, which was waiting for us. Oh, Bev, you look nice. Very nice. Look at there, look at there. Blushing right.
Alright, bless you.
You look nice. That's a beautiful dress. Got a tree. Hey, that's for later on, guys. Alright, what you gotta say to the bride and groom?
Congratulations.
That's all I get. You got any words for the bride and groom?
I didn't have anything to say.
I don't know what to say.
Congratulations, something?
Congrats.
Oh yeah, I'll say it. Congrats, Tim. I hope it all goes well. Good luck.
Right, I need to carry this.
All the guests are going to run. I think that is the plan.
Hey now!
Hey, we want some more.
You gotta come on right here.
Yeah.
You can sit right here.
Hey, we want some more.
Thank you so much.
I guess I'll
Hey,
get this
remember I
side.
got the car?
Alright.
Tastes like alcohol.
Damn, I wanted to sit on the sofa. Hell.
Well, you know. Okay, okay.
We made our way to the Wahala Beach Park, which is located in Kahala on Oahu's south shore, about 3 miles east of Waikiki. The Wahala stream flows right through the beach park and into the ocean, where the waters have formed a wide channel through the reef. The stream divides the park into 2 sections, and White Stone Bridge connects them. Wahala's beach sand is interspread with coral rubble from the reef offshore. At the east end of the beach is a small man-made island which was built in 1963 that is an awesome backdrop for Tim and Beverly's wedding. On a side note, our wedding director was so focused on getting everything just perfect for Tim and Beverly that she unknowingly walked up onto a wedding in progress and asked them to move just as they were saying their vows. This enraged the other couple's wedding director, who had a heated conversation with Tim and Bev's wedding director afterwards. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate it.
I'm blinded by the light. I have everybody else on FaceTime Live. Everybody on FaceTime Live. Thank you.
Later that night, we all met up back at Uncle Bo's Poo Poo Bar and Grill for steaks and drinks. The following morning, I woke up early and drove around the west side of the island that we had not explored yet. Poka Bay is the most protected beach on the leeward west coast of Oahu. It is calm year-round while other beaches on the leeward coast get stronger surf in the winter months. There's a wide reef in the middle of the bay, and the waves that break on it are usually small, which makes it a good spot for beginning surfers. Poka Bay lies between the small boat harbor in Waianae and Kanalia Point, a peninsula which is home to the Kulealo Heiau, an ancient Hawaiian temple site. In addition to surfing, it is also a popular fishing spot. In the center of the bay is an Army Recreation Center, which was acquired by the federal government in 1918. The bay is named after Hawaiian chief Poka, who is said to have brought the first coconut palm tree to Hawaii. Pearl Harbor is an American lagoon harbor west of Honolulu. It was often visited by the naval fleet of the United States before it was acquired from the Hawaiian Kingdom by the U.S. with the signing of the Reciprocity Treaty of 1875. Much of the harbor and the surrounding lands are now a U.S. Navy deepwater naval base. It is also the headquarters for the United States Pacific Fleet. The U.S. government first obtained exclusive use of the inlet and the right to maintain a repair and coaling station for ships here in 1887. The surprise attack by the Imperial Japanese Navy on December 7, 1941, led the United States to declare war on the Empire of Japan, making the attack on Pearl Harbor the immediate cause of the United States' entry into World War II. Pearl Harbor is the #1 visitor destination in Hawaii, and the USS Arizona Memorial is where the Pearl Harbor experience begins. Millions of people all over the world come to see for themselves where World War II began for the United States on December 7, 1941. The USS Arizona Memorial is a must-see destination which draws more than 1.7 million visitors each year from all over the world. Visitors are free to explore the grounds of the $65 million Pearl Harbor Visitor Center, which was expanded from the original 3 to 17 acres in December of 2011. The Pearl Harbor Visitor Center is operated by the National Park Service and is open daily from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., only closing for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. Parking is free for all visitors. The USS Arizona Memorial was built over the remains of a sunken battleship, the USS Arizona, the final resting place for many of the 1,177 crew members killed on December 7, 1941, when their ship was bombed by Japanese naval forces. This loss of life represents over half of the Americans killed during the worst naval disaster in American history. The USS Arizona boat tickets and tours is operated by the National Park Service in partnership with the Pacific Historic Parks, and they offer daily programs that include a movie about the December 7, 1941 Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor and a boat ride to the USS Arizona Memorial. These tours start at 8 a.m. and go through 3:30 p.m. daily. Tours last approximately 45 minutes from the time you board the boat. There are 3 ways to reserve a spot on the boat tour. Advance tickets can be made available on the website recreation.com 8 weeks before your arrival. Another option is to try the day before you plan to visit at 3 p.m. Go to the same site where more tickets are released. The third way is to stand in a standby line. That's how we did it. We had to wait approximately an hour and 45 minutes in order to board the ship. Walking around the grounds, Jaden and Bailey found a way to avoid buying a ticket to explore the grounds of the Pacific Fleet, including a tour of the USS Bowfin submarine. They showed me the way, but chickened out at the last minute, turning back to Old Mother Hen, Wendy Martin. Immediately adjacent to the Pearl Harbor National Museum, the Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum campus was recently renovated and features a World War II fleet submarine, USS Bowfin, a museum, outdoor artifacts, a shaded patio, food service, gift shop, restrooms, and concessions. The Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum is currently open daily from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and requires a general admission ticket. Admission includes an audio tour that is available in 7 languages. The recently renovated museum features interactive exhibits that highlight the submarine force's contributions during World War II, the Cold War, today, and into the future. The Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum is one of the few museums in the world where visitors can learn about the history of the U.S. Navy's submarine force, the silent service during World War II, the Cold War, and today in the future. The museum features a mix of traditional exhibits, multimedia, and interactive displays. On December 15, 1941, shortly after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Portsmouth Navy Yard was given the order to start construction of the new Blau-class fleet submarines. The third boat of the class was to bear the name USS Bowfin, SS-287. Of all the classes of submarines used during World War II, the Blau class contributed the most submarines to the submerged fight. Approximately 265 were ordered and more than 119 were completed between 1942 and 1945. Major improvements over the previous Gato class were the upgraded thicker, high-yield steel strength and the pressure hull skin and frame, which increased their test depth to 400 feet. The USS Bowfin measures nearly 312 feet and has a submerged displacement weight of 2,415 tons. During World War II, the USS Bowfin went out on 9 war patrols in the Pacific between 1943 and 1945. The USS Bowfin boasts 10 torpedo tubes and rack space for 14 reloads and could reach speeds of 20.25 knots on the surface and 8.7 knots submerged. USS Bowfin's World War II commanding officers believe that she sank 32 large vessels plus 10 more, and damaged 5 large vessels plus 2 smaller ones. She remains a legend for among the 188 World War II submarines with sinking records. Bowfin ranks 17th in tonnage and 15th in the number of ships sank. After leaving Pearl Harbor, we all drove back to our hotel, and Wendy and the kids wanted to try out the water slide, which was located in one of the adjacent buildings on the other side of the lagoon. By the time I arrived at the pool, Bailey and Jaden were walking back. A minute later, I also ran into Wendy and Pierce, who said that the line was too long and the slide wasn't even long. So we ended up all hanging out at the lagoon, swimming for a couple of hours. After leaving the lagoon, we all got dressed up for the dinner cruise where Tim and Beverly were going to celebrate their wedding and cut their wedding cake while enjoying the coastline of Waikiki. We all met up with Tim, Bev, Jacob, and Jane to board the boat around 5 p.m. Hawaii's largest sunset dinner cruise ship, the Star of Honolulu, sails out of Honolulu Harbor to Diamond Head, offering a stunning 360-degree views of the sunset and Waikiki city lights from 4 floors of walk-around decks and a 60-foot high observation deck. Enjoy exquisite cuisine prepared by master chefs, premium cocktails, and live Hawaiian entertainment for the most memorable experience in Hawaii. Pearl Harbor excursions beginnings started in 1957 while operating 2 small vessels offering basic dinner cruises with disposable tableware and all-you-can-drink cocktail concepts. By 1992, the company developed the all-new Royal Sunset Dinner Cruise concept and constructed the 1,500-passenger Star of Honolulu, Hawaii's largest dinner cruise vessel designed specifically for sailing in Hawaiian waters.
We're not in the office, which means we can make some noise. So let's try this again. Aloha! Wow, my God. Give yourselves a round of applause. Beautiful crowd tonight. It's Aloha Sunday.
The following morning, we all got up early and got dressed and met up with Jacob and Jane to go to the Oahu Stadium swap meet. The Aloha Stadium swap meet is best described as a Hawaiian shopping spectacle that's both entertaining and overwhelming at the same time. This Oahu shopping event is sometimes referred to as the Aloha Flea Market and is a world of its own. On Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, hundreds of visitors start first thing in the morning setting up their tents in the dark around the stadium, circling around it almost a mile long multiple times to fit everyone in, thus creating an Aloha Stadium Swap Meet Bazaar. My advice is to show up early and don't plan on conquering it all. The booths will seem endless as you start your stroll into the Aloha Flea Market. You will no doubt second guess yourself whether you've started off in the right direction and in the right row for that matter. Trust me, everybody does. If you're only going to have one shopping, this might be the right choice. You'll find just about everything here from Aloha shirts to surfboards. You'll also find a wide variety of Hawaiian jewelry, handbags, local, designed, and designer knockoff clothes, martial art weapons, household items, local artwork, and just about everything Hawaiian. And I promise that once you have purchased something, you will find it again in the market at a cheaper price, and also cheaper than what you'll find in Waikiki. Stay patient and continue to shop around. Once you've found something that you like, learn how to bargain. Almost everything is negotiable. We ended up shopping at the swap meet for several hours before returning back to our hotel to relax in the sun and water around the lagoon for the afternoon. Wendy ended up renting the kids a kayak for a few hours, and they each took turns paddling around the lagoon. ABC stores have been a familiar name in Hawaii since 1949, with friendly store people, large selections, and more than 70 stores. While it's easy to believe the joke that the ABC in ABC store stands for all blocks covered, the reality is it doesn't stand for anything. It was just a name that the founder thought would be easy to remember when he opened the first store on Waikiki Beach in 1964. ABC stores have progressed from a mom-and-pop store to the most recognizable brands in the Hawaiian tourism industry. The founders of ABC stores, through their vision, paved the road for this success with the belief in two fundamental tenets: convenience and service. Founded by Sidney and Minnie Kozna, ABC stores had its start in the 1930s. Sidney grew up working in his parents' grocery store in Honolulu and went on to earn a degree in pharmaceutical services at the University of California at Berkeley in 1942. In 1949, the Kozas opened the first owned drugstore known as Thrifty Drugs, and a chain of drugstores followed soon thereafter. On a trip to Miami Beach, Kozna watched visitors shop local convenience stores instead of the high-priced hotel shops. He envisioned that Waikiki would someday be packed with visitors like Miami Beach, and the ABC concept was born. Stores conveniently located for visitors with merchandise sold at fair prices. Drawing upon his experience in drug and grocery stores, Kozna opened the first ABC outlet on Waikiki Beach in 1964. It stocked groceries, souvenirs, drugs, and cosmetics, and anything else a visitor would need. In this next store, I was asked to stop filming and to leave immediately. Our last day in Hawaii was finally upon us. As we packed all of our suitcases, a feeling of sadness was felt by all. We had a wonderful time the past 2 weeks exploring and spending time with family and friends, and we did not want it to end. We boarded our first plane at around 6 p.m. and took off 20 minutes later to Maui. The flight lasted only 35 minutes and we had a layover that lasted for almost 3 hours. We boarded our second plane at around 9:30 and took off at 10 p.m. heading towards Phoenix. Once we arrived in Phoenix, we had another layover for 3 hours and 24 minutes before boarding our final flight back into the Charlotte area.